What's going on, guys? It's Brandon Beck here again with the fourth and final preview in another part of my room for this Eastern Conference. Boston and Toronto, and of course we had to end here because it's ending where it started. Boston 47-20 and 15, 109 points throughout the season. They somehow have not fallen off yet. Don't ask me how. Toronto 46, 26 and 10, 102 points. The number 2 and 3 seeds. I don't know why I put second for Toronto here, and I also don't know why I didn't put numbers 2 and 3. Third, 2, and number 3. Anyway, second in the Atlantic, fourth in the East, sixth in the league for Boston. For Toronto, third in the Atlantic, fifth in the East, 10th in the league. These two teams don't like each other, and they know each other very well. However, it has been a bit now since they last played each other. The core of the Maple Leafs is a lot younger when they first played them. Now the core's developed. They're in their mid to late 20s. And Boston's older. And also a lot of their demons, Chara, Bergeron, Krejci, they're all gone. Marchand's a lot older. Among other pieces as well, Tuukka Rask is no longer in net. Just to name a bunch of things that have gone wrong for Toronto in the past. And you got a whole different supporting cast than you did back when the last time you played them. For goals for, Boston had 267, which leaves them around the 12th, 13th range. Goals against, 224, which is 6th. Goal difference, plus 43. For Toronto, goals for, they're first in the league with 303, only team to crack 300. Goals against, 263, which is 20th. That's a little problem. Goal difference, plus 40. Factors for both of these teams going into this series, it's got to be goaltending and it's got to be defense for Boston. Those two are going to have to hold up against the high star power of this Toronto offense. Meetings, Boston won all 4 games this season and have won the last 7 in total against Toronto. On November 2nd, they beat Boston. Boston wins in a shootout in Boston 3-2. In Toronto on December 2nd, they defeated Toronto 4-3 in overtime. And then in Toronto on March 4th, they win 4-1. And on March 7th in Boston, they win 4-1 as well. So, series sweep of the season. Will it happen in the playoffs? I don't think so. Look at point scores. Pastrnak leads the way for Boston. 82 games played, 47 goals, no 60 this year. 63 assists, however, for 110 points. 82 games for Marchand, 29 goals, 38 assists, 67 points. Charlie Coyle, third in scoring. 82 games played, 25 goals, 35 assists, 60 points. Pavel Zacha slided right into that number 1 center spot. 21 goals, 38 assists, 51 points in 78 games. McAvoy, 74 games played, 12 goals, 35 assists, 47 points. DeBrusk, 80 games played, 19 goals, 21 assists, 40 points. Trent Frederick, 82 games played, 18 goals, 22 assists, 40 points. Boston's scoring was a lot more close. A lot of players had a very similar amount. I could have kept going until the late 20s because of how close the points were. I decided to cut it off at 40 because you guys got guys like Morgan Geekie, Danton Heinen, Shattenkirk is close, James Van Riemsdyk. All 4 of those guys are very close to those point totals as well. So overall, Boston's they're very team oriented. Not depending on stars for scoring. It's all by committee. They do it all as a team. Toronto, it's a different story. To start off, Matthews has the greatest goal-scoring season anyone has had since the salary cap came in and since Mario Lemieux. 81 games played, 69 goals, 38 assists, 170 points, 107 points, not 170. He could just not get to 70 in those final 2 games, and of course the game he missed comes back to bite him. Nylander, 40 goals, 58 assists, 98 points. Those are your 2 guys you sign contracts to. That's what you pay them to do. Marner's going to be the next one up. 69 games played, 26 goals, 59 assists, 85 points. For Marner, his contract's up in 2 years. We'll see how much he gets paid for sure. And he's going to be the one the spotlight's on. Marner has not been a playoff performer. It's going to be up to him to see how the series goes. It's going to be this team goes as far as Marner takes them. Nylander's a usual playoff performer. Tavares has been there when he needs to be, aside from when he got injured in 2021. Matthews, he's had some good runs. 2021 he wasn't very good. But Marner's been the one that's kind of been the black sheep. He has not performed well, and this might be his time that he needs to show that he's worth the money he's being paid if he wants to get paid more. Tavares, his contract's up in 2 years as well. He'll be getting paid a lot less, allowing the Marner contract to happen. 80 games played, 29 goals, 36 assists, 65 points. Morgan Riley, if you want to call it the Big Five, 72 games played, 7 goals, 51 assists, 58 points. Max Domi, 80 games played, 9 goals, 38 assists, 47 points. Scored more goals in Chicago, but when he's playing with the guys who are scoring the goals, you got like Matthews and Nylander and Marner. I meant to put Nylander had 82 games played as well. My apologies. Bertuzzi, 80 games played, 21 goals, 22 assists, 43 points. Picked up near the halfway point of the season, as well as Domi. They took a little to get adjusted. And then I wanted to end off with Matthew Knies, 80 games played, 15 goals, 20 assists, 35 points. Of course, there were others in there, but there was a bit of a drop-off after Knies, so I just wanted to do it to then. Goaltending. We'll start with Boston. There's a reason I wanted to save this. They've had two goaltenders that have played all year, Swayman and Ullmark. Swayman, 44 games played, 25 wins, 10 losses, 8 OT losses, 916 save percentage, very good. Ullmark, 40 games played, 22 wins, 10 losses as well, and 7 overtime losses, 915 save percentage. Stats are almost identical. And who is going to get the start in net? Swayman had the better first half, Ullmark had the better second half. I'm going to say that Swayman probably gets the start in Game 1. If things don't go well, they flip to Ullmark. Not too big of a deal. These two goalies love each other, and it might be Ullmark's last run here in Boston before he gets traded out. We'll see. But moving on to Toronto's, they used 3 goalies because Samsonov went down for a bit, and so did Wall for a large bit. But Samsonov, 40 games played, 23, 7, and 8. You think that's better than both of them on the other side until you see the 890 save percentage, which you can't really see, but I can't really go any lower without my camera freezing for just not being on. Joseph Wall, 25 games played, 12 wins, 11 losses, and 1 overtime loss. You think that record's probably a bit worse, but he's got a 907 save percentage, which means team to plays a lot better in front of Samsonov than it does in front of Wall. And then Martin Jones was in for 22 games, 11, 8, and 1 with a 902 save percentage. He's got goaltending depth if you need it. Overall, who am I going to take to win the series? Well, firstly, let's look at the playoff history and let's see how it goes. These teams have played each other a lot since they're both original 6 teams. 1933, the Maple Leafs win that series 3-2 back when they were 5-game series. 1935, it's a 3-1 series win for the Leafs. 1936, it's a 1-1 series win for the Maple Leafs. What does that mean? They won on goal differential. So they scored 8 goals in that series. Boston scored 6, and so the Maple Leafs were awarded the series. I don't know. 1938, it's a 3-0 or 3-0 sweep by the Maple Leafs. 1939, it's a 4-1 Bruins victory in the Stanley Cup Final. So the Bruins win one series against the Leafs before 1951, and that's for the Stanley Cup. Couldn't pick a better time to win it. 1941, it's a 4-3 Maple Leafs victory in 7 games. 1948, they beat the Bruins in 5. 1949, they beat the Bruins in 5. 1951, they beat the Bruins in 5. 1959, they get their last playoff series win against the Bruins. They win in 7. Starting with 1969, the Bruins win every single series from here on out. 4-0 in 69, 4-1 in 72, 4-0 in 74. Fast forward 39 years, I think, to 2013. To 2013. Bruins win that one in 7, iconically. They are up 3-1. Maple Leafs come back. They're up 4-1 in Game 7. Bruins come back. It's one of the biggest collapses in history now. Everyone knows the clip. I remember being there as a kid watching that game. I would have been 8 years old at the time. 2018, they do the same exact thing. Maple Leafs have a lead going into the 3rd period. Boston comes back and wins the game, even though they had a 3-1 series lead. Everything's the same. Home ice advantage. All of it's the same. 2019, the boogeyman prophecy of TD Garden, it comes fulfilled. Another 4-3 loss. This time the Leafs get destroyed in Game 7. And this time they did have a series lead. They were up 3-2, but Boston wins. This time, I think it's going to be different. I'm going to take the Maple Leafs to win this series. As someone who's hated on the Maple Leafs for a while, and kind of got sad when they finally did win a series, this is not what I mean, it's Boston, so I kind of want the Maple Leafs to win, but because I just kind of want Boston to go out in a hole and die, finally. But Toronto, I think they can do it. I think this is Toronto's year to have a chance to break out of the Eastern Conference. This is probably going to be their best chance, especially with the salary cap crunch they're going to be in next season with the Matthews and Nylander contract extensions. I think this might be the best opportunity they have with every team having a chance this year. They can beat Boston. I think they can. They can beat Florida or Tampa. I think they can. If they can get out of there, who knows who they play in the conference final? I think that the Atlantic being much better than the Metro, I think they could beat the Rangers or the Hurricanes or the Islanders or the Capitals. This could be the year Toronto goes to the final, but we'll see in my prediction video. I'm going to call it here. Thank you guys so much for watching this video, and I shall see you guys in the next one. Have a good one.